So today we're going to continue with writing equations. All right, but today we're going to use a new formula that's called the point slope formula or point slope form. And this is how we would write an equation when we're not using a graph. Okay. So all you need to write the equation are those two things. The name tells you. You need a point or an ordered pair, and you need the slope. Okay. So first things first, here's the formula. All right, it is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the slope in for the m. All right, so here's your slope. That's going to go there. And then you're going to substitute the ordered pair that you're given in for x1, y1. All right, so there's going to be a number that goes in there, and there's going to be a number that goes in there. The normal x and the normal y stay, so that when we are finished, we will have y equals mx plus b. All right. So again, we're going to substitute slope in for m and our ordered pair that we're given in for x1 and y1. The second thing then we will do, you'll see, is we'll need to distribute the slope, all right, over that quantity. And then we're just going to simplify the equation until it's in y equals mx plus b form, and you'll be done. Okay. Now, I do want to point out in the formula that it is always y minus y1. And in the parentheses, it's also always x minus x1. All right, so if we end up with negative numbers in our ordered pair, we'll be subtracting a negative. And as we do some examples, you'll see how that works. Now, horizontal lines, all right, horizontal lines run left to right. Those have slopes of 0. So you can substitute a number like 0 still in for m and continue. And we would do that. All right. Vertical lines, though, which run up and down, have undefined slopes. You can't substitute a word in for m. All right. There is no numerical value that goes with undefined. So if you do get a slope that's undefined, then we're not going to substitute. You just have to remember vertical lines pass through the x-axis, and so the equation will be x equals some number. All right, and that number is going to be the x-coordinate of the point that we're given. So we can use this formula even for horizontal lines, but not for vertical ones. We just have to stop and think for a minute. All right, so let's do some of these examples. All right, number 7, oops, I do want to keep the formula there for you. All right, we have a slope of -3 and then an ordered pair 4, 5. So the 4 will be my x1, the 5 will be my y1. All right, so I have a point and a slope, so I can use my point slope form. Now I'm just going to rewrite it. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. If you need to write it each time, again, just to help you remember it, and then do the substituting, that's fine. So we've got y minus y1 is 5. So y minus 5 equals, I'm going to put the -3 in for m, and then I'll have x minus, and my x1 is 4. Once you're done substituting, I'm going to distribute the -3. I'm going to slide this up. So we've got y minus 5 equals -3x, and then a -3 times a -4 is actually a positive 12. The last thing, we want this in y equals form, so I need to add the 5 over to the number on the right. So y equals -3x, and this will get me plus 17. There's your equation. All right, number 8. Again, let's write the formula. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So the 6 is my x1, the -3 is my y1. So I'm going to have y minus a -3 equals, my slope is -2/3 times, and then x minus +6. So over here on the left, that double negative is really going to become a positive, right? So that's y plus 3 equals. And then over here on the right, I have to distribute. So -2/3 times x just stays -2/3 x. Now, when you multiply, either use your calculator, or remember, this is like 6/1. So when you multiply, we're doing the numerators together. So -2 times -6 is going to be +12. And on the bottom, I've got 3 times 1. All right, now notice I put the negative with the 6. I didn't put it with the 6 and the 1. That would be a double negative. So the -2 times -6 is the 12, and then 3 times 1 is 3. So this is actually 4. All right, so to finish up, and just to rewrite what we've got, I've got y plus 3 equals -2/3 x plus 4. I'll need to subtract 3 from both sides. So final answer is y equals -2/3 x, and then 4 minus 3 is +1. Okay. All right, let's do another. My slope is 1/5. I've got -10 as my x1, 12 as my y1. Now, you may or may not, like I said, need to write down the formula. These are our notes, so I'm going to write it down. When you're showing the work, you can actually just go right to the substituting. So you can start with y minus, and y1 is 12 equals, m is 1/5, and then I'll have x minus a -10. So this time the double negative's over here, so this is really going to be x plus 10. So I don't need to do anything on the left, but I'm going to distribute on the right. So 1/5 times x is 1/5 x. 1/5 times 10, use your calculator or pretend that 10's over 1. So we've got 1 times 10 is 10, and then 5 times 1 is 5. And this just becomes 2. 10 over 5 is 2. So I've got y minus 12 equals 1/5 x plus 2. And then I'll add 12 to both sides. So y equals 1/5 x plus 14 is my final answer. Okay. Let's look at number 10. My slope is 3/8. My x1 is a -16, and my y1 will be a -2. All right, so this time I'm going to go straight to the substituting. So as I say the formula, I'll fill in. So y minus y1, so I'll have y minus a -2 equals m, which is 3/8, times, and then I'll have x minus a -16. So this time I've got double negatives everywhere. So this is really y plus 2 on the right, or sorry, that was the left. Y plus 2, and then I've got 3/8 times x plus 16. So now I just need to distribute. So we've got y plus 2 equals, I'll have 3/8 x. All right, again, use your calculator, or I know I've got 3 times 16, which is going to be 48, over 8 times 1, which is 8. And 48 divided by 8 is actually 6. So I've got y plus 2 equals 3/8 x plus 6. And then I'll subtract 2 to finish it up. Y equals 3/8 x plus 4. Whoops, slide that up when you like to see it. All right, now I intentionally picked a lot of fractions in these examples because I know those will be the ones that give you, I guess, the most difficulty sometimes, especially if you don't have a calculator and you're doing it by hand. So just remember what I did is I made the number over 1 and did numerators and then multiplied denominators. All right, number 11, I've got a slope of 0, and then I'll label underneath the -3 is my x1 and 8 is my y1. I can substitute a 0 into my formula, all right? So I've got y minus, my y is 8, equals, so this will be 0 times, and then I'll have x minus a -3. All right, so this is really x plus 3. Now, when you distribute 0, what's going to happen? 0 times anything, even a whole quantity, just becomes 0. All right, don't just cross out that side and leave it blank. It actually equals the number 0. And then the last thing we need to do is just add 8. So our equation is y equals 8. And that should make sense because if the slope is 0, we know this is a horizontal line. And horizontal lines run through the y-axis. So our equation should be y equals a number. And that's what we got. Now in number 12, your slope is undefined. And so I can't substitute that word into my formula. So this should tell me this is a vertical line. So it's running through the x-axis. So it's going to be x equals, and all you have to do is go find the x coordinate of the point, because if it's going through the point 7, 4, then it's going through the 7. And that would be all you need to do for a vertical line. There's really not going to be any work to be shown. All right, so this is what you're doing today. You're writing equations using the point slope formula. All right, if you have any questions, come see me, but you should be ready to practice.